Hello, everyone. It's May the 11th, Thursday. I appreciate you being with us and everything. We've got a lot of information here to go through today, but our Secretary of Revenue, Dave Hardy's with us. Our Interim Secretary of DHHR, Dr. Jeff Coben's with us, and our DHHR Deputy Secretary of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Disorders, Christina Mullins, is with us. So we'll get to a bunch of stuff with them, and they can give you a lot of great information. But today, the national COVID public health emergency comes to an end. And so Dr. Coben is going to talk to us about that. But, gracious, it just seems like it was yesterday, but state girls basketball tournament going on. My team was ready to play. I forget the time now. It's all running together. Maybe 7 o'clock. And it was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and many basketball tournaments, were going on all across this nation, NCAA play and everything else. And people were really getting shell-shocked and big events being canceled. I felt like that it was the right thing to move at that point in time based on the information that we had. And so it all kind of started right then. One thing we were able to do is for the most part, we were able to keep our schools open and our businesses open and working. Naturally, we closed different things at different times. We ran to the fire when we finally got vaccines, and we started putting them in arms. And that's why West Virginia was first in the nation to do so. And instead of writing a plan and taking 2 months to write a plan and everything, I knew without any question that what we needed to do was get these shots in people's arms, especially the elderly. And no telling how many lives we saved. And I thank all the people, my heavens to Betsy, all the first responders, all the great people, in our hospitals and our nurses and doctors and on and on and on. All the great workers that came out every day to places like Kroger's and supermarkets and kept them open for us. It didn't take a doctor or it didn't take a nurse to be a hero. It didn't take one of our absolute first responders, whether it be, our policemen or our firemen, to be heroes. They all were. And gosh knows it was tough on everybody. But I salute them and thank everyone from the bottom of my heart. But Dr. Coben, if you could come on, to me, any day that this crazy thing ends, from an emergency standpoint, is a good day. Dr. Coben.
Thank you, Governor.
Yes, and thank you so much for your leadership during these past months and years as we've gone through the COVID-19. As you mentioned, today the federal public health emergency ends. This does impact many federal programs, and what we want to work towards is to make sure that that has the least impact upon the citizens here in West Virginia. The programs that are most heavily impacted by the ending of the public health emergency at the federal level include the Medicaid program, the CHIP program, the SNAP program, and the pandemic EBT, which are all somewhat impacted by the ending of the public health emergency. We have put out information about this recently through press releases, and we will continue to put information out there for anyone that is participant in any of those programs. We really strongly encourage you to visit our website, the coronavirus website, coronavirus.wv.gov, and click on the tab End of Public Health Emergency DHHR Program Update. And this will provide you with information specific to any and all of those programs that I mentioned. So I thank you for the opportunity and encourage also the members of the press to share this information broadly so we can get it out to all of our citizens. And finally, I would just be remiss if I didn't remind people to please stay up to date with your vaccinations so that we can continue to navigate as we move forward and keep all of our citizens as healthy as possible. Thank you, Governor.
No, thank you, Jeff. And gosh, I've got to first and foremost thank my team of experts that were around me. You know, the General Hoyers and Dr. Marsh and surely you, Jeff, and Dr. Amjad and Secretary Crouch, all those, and there's so many people in the backgrounds and all the good stuff that was done. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's just fitting that, in West Virginia, or this week is National Hospital Week. I have proclaimed it in West Virginia as well, and just get this, the more than 49,000 healthcare providers and staff who work in hospitals across West Virginia, 49,000. It is amazing, absolutely beyond belief. And this week is also National Nurses Week in West Virginia. And gracious sakes alive, all the things that the shortages of nurses was off the chart. The hospitals, our local hospitals, are our community's lifeblood. It's the heart of our communities. The job that these people have done, heaven forbid, it is absolutely unbelievable. So please do this. Just take time to do this. Whenever you may see a doctor or a hospital worker or a nurse, whomever it may be, that has done so much for all of us, take time. If you see them in the next couple of days, please at least take time to stop your busy schedule and thank them. Thank them for all they did for all of us and everything. It's unbelievable, and what they continue to do every single day. This week is National Children's Mental Health Acceptance Week, and I have also officially signed a proclamation naming this week Children's Mental Health Acceptance Week in West Virginia as well. Christina Mullins is going to come on and talk to us about this and everything, and she does an unbelievable job, and we thank her so much. But Christina, please come on.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today, and thank you, Governor Justice, for joining DHHR and our partners in helping to elevate children's mental health awareness. During the month of May, we focus on the importance of mental health at all ages and stages, but during this week, we bring special attention to children's mental health. Positive mental health is crucial for their overall well-being, happiness, academic performance, and future success. By prioritizing mental health needs, we can help children grow into resilient, thriving individuals. West Virginia's children, along with their parents, caregivers, and families, need access across the lifespan to appropriate mental health supports to help assure they become and remain happy and thriving adults. DHHR's Bureau for Behavioral Health provides a variety of supports for children, youth, and families, and I would like to highlight 2 helplines that provide access to resources in the moments they may need it most. The West Virginia Children's Crisis and Referral Line provides 24/7 access through call, text, or chat. This helpline links families with regional mobile crisis response and stabilization teams who can help de-escalate a situation by phone or respond in person if the family chooses. The number for this service is 844-HELP-FOR-WV. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, also 24/7 and accessible through call, text, or chat, assists youth as well as individuals of all ages who are experiencing emotional distress. That number is easy to remember and only 3 digits, and that is 988. I cannot overemphasize the importance of reaching out for help at any time someone shows signs of worsening mental health. You might notice signs of sadness, anxiety, or even being in the moment of a crisis. Those call lines can help at any moment. Another critical way to reach our children and youth in need of mental health supports is through their schools and West Virginia's strong and growing network of prevention programs. Schools that participate in West Virginia prevention programs tend to have better outcomes. Students are more likely to perform at grade level, have less behavioral needs and concerns, and have better graduation rates. I want to thank West Virginia's partners, providers, our governor, and our legislators for valuing and prioritizing mental health care and access for children. As we work to continue to build resources statewide, West Virginia can be proud of the progress we have made in helping children and adults access needed services. Thank you, Governor.
Christina, thank you so much, and congratulations on the great work you do all the time. We've got some judge appointments today. I am announcing 2 judicial appointments. I have appointed Robert E. Ryan to the 21st Judicial Circuit Court, serving in Mineral, Grant, and Tucker counties. Robert, I know, will do a phenomenal job. He comes so highly recommended, and I know that he will do a great, great job. And Paul Gwatney, I have appointed Paul to the 17th Judicial Circuit Court, serving in Monongalia County, and Paul will do exactly the same. Great, 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 great men, and they will do fabulous work, and I know they will, and so I congratulate them. I really thank them for stepping up and trying to help move West Virginia forward. So congratulations, men, and go do the great work. Yesterday, we were at an announcement at Scott Depot with PepsiCo. It's amazing. It's just amazing to think, here is probably a Fortune 100 company, another one coming to West Virginia. Now, they've been here already, and they've already done a lot of great work. But just think about this just for a second. Not only have they already been here and done a lot of great work, but they have not put their hub here, their hub for the East. $16 million investment, absolutely, that they're going to, move their product through all kinds of avenues from West Virginia, from Scott Depot to the Northeast, to the East, in general. They have a couple of brand new tractor trailers. You see our logo that they put on, our tractor trailers, and as they're going up and down the East Coast all over the place, it will be showing off there. They did this at their expense and everything. Almost heaven, West Virginia. We could not possibly be happier and everything. And so with all that being said, the lady that spoke first, her name was Sharonda, and Sharonda, not only did she play college basketball, that's dear to my heart, at the University of Houston, but she played in the WNBA, and now she's absolutely just an astounding lady. So pretty and beautiful, and speaks so well, has a bubbling personality and everything. PepsiCo's got a super winner in her, and what an incredible job she did. So we thank them, and we thank them for being here. We're so appreciative that they have this level of confidence in us in West Virginia to be a critical hub for their Frito-Lay products and everything in the Atlantic region. So that's really, really good, really good. Also on Tuesday, we were at Cabell Midland High School. Cabell Midland has an incredible band. Their marching nights continue to just dominate and dominate and dominate all across the state of West Virginia, and rightfully so. They are absolutely teetotally spectacular. And I think, it's Tim James who's been with them and been their band director for a long time, and they just continue and you can see right there, that's Tim and myself, and the Governor's Cup. Well, you got Baby Dog sitting there too. But the Governor's Cup, that they won in 2022, I'm presenting it right there, and Great work. Unbelievable. Just absolutely unbelievable. I mean, if you could see this band and listen to this band, they're just phenomenal. That's all there is to it. I mean, they have worked so hard. Their precision is off the chart, and they're just really, really something. And I want to take time to thank Randall Reed Smith. You know, Randall is the curator for the arts and history, and what an unbelievable job he does and everything. He's been involved with this great high school band forever. And, you know, he's just an amazing, amazing man. I thank him from the bottom of my heart all the time, but he's literally stuck on all the time, and all the time jacked up, which I love. You know, I absolutely love people that are enthusiastic and have real passion in their lives for what they're doing and everything. But this man is a self-promoter of this great state, and absolutely I am all in. I will never change in regard to the arts and history. If you're not proud of your own pond, you're not much of a frog. That's all there is to it. And absolutely I am dadgum proud of West Virginia in every way, and we want to stay that way. So, Randall, thank you so much, and it's a great day. I love Tuesday, that's for sure. Tuesday evening, you know, I was a little worried about this because I thought, well, you know, I used to play baseball a lot. I pitched a bunch and everything, and, you know, I played first base, and I played everything, you know, but growing up, probably wasn't real great at anything, but I played about everything. And so I was going to throw out the first pitch down, you know, for the Dirty Birds, you know, in Charleston and everything. You know, incredible bunch of athletes. I mean, I couldn't get over how big they are. I mean, they're big guys and they're strong guys, and their talent is really something. You know, Communities and Schools was kind of their night in a lot of ways and everything. They had representatives there, and, you know, and the Dirty Birds were kind enough to do a nice thing for Communities and Schools and basically, you know, put some more focus on Communities and Schools and all the good stuff they're doing. And that, you know, my wife Kathy couldn't be with us and everything. You know, Kathy's been having a little trouble with her back and everything, but nevertheless, you know, we had a great representation of Communities and Schools. But all that said and done, you know, then I had to throw out the first pitch, and so to be perfectly honest, I thought, well, you know, I've done a lot of this before. You know, I threw a few pitches, you know, before the game and everything. I thought, who knows how this is going to go? But you know, with the blessings of the good Lord, you know, it kind of went halfway decent and everything. But I think I got a video. They're not going to quit, you know. So maybe you can show that, Jordan. We thank the Dirty Birds for absolutely all you do, all your support to all of our community, and this is a great, great, great day for absolutely the start of our season. Now, I'm going to throw a couple of pitches just to warm up, and then we'll go from there, okay? Now, since that first pitch is so good, I'm not trying that again. But Baby Dog is going to throw your official opening pitch, okay? And y'all root for a whole lot.
Let's hear it for Jim Justice and Baby Dog.
Well, you can see Baby Dog did better than I did, but nevertheless, it was a good night. And some way, when I threw that ball, you know, let me tell you this real quick. But the catcher, the fellow, you know, with the Dirty Birds, he kind of walked out in front of home plate and he said, "Do I need to come on out?" And I said, "Get your butt back there." I mean, for crying out loud, if I can't throw this ball from the pitcher's mound to you, then I'm surely not much and everything. But some way, somehow, the ball got there and it all worked out. But nevertheless, a great night. Congratulations to the Dirty Birds, and we just hope they'll win and win and win even more. So you make us proud. Thank you bunch. Okay, the reason we got here a little late today and everything, we've been at the new Milton Elementary. You know, Milton Elementary School has got in excess of 500 kids in it. Now think about that. Think about an elementary school with 500 kids. And think about where it's located, and every time the water comes up, water comes into some part of the school and does some level of damage. Well, the great people in Cabell County, and you know, there's so many to mention, you know, but you know, they passed a bond, and at the time in 2020, the biggest bond in state history. I think $87-something million. With all that being said, they're now underway. We broke ground today to build a new elementary school, and these are the kids from the elementary school. You know, it's just great stuff. I mean, that's all there is to it. I mean, if you just would get out and spend some time with our children, it is unbelievable what it will do to touch your soul. And go to a school, volunteer for something. And it's the reason I coach. You know, I don't go anywhere. I don't go on vacations and whatever like that. I don't go anywhere. All I want to do is be with those kids. I mean, because absolutely today our children are impacted by so many different things. Social media is cruel at times. That's just plain all there is to it. And so there's so many challenges that they have today that we need to try to help them through. They're just absolutely worth it. You know, I said this, and I've got to say this to everybody, but I've said this over and over. But I said to those kids that were sitting there, you know, when we were just talking, before we did the ground breaking right there. But I said to them, I said, do you love your teachers? And almost I'm sure every last one of them, yes, we love our teachers. And then there was a bunch of adults that were sitting back behind them. And I said, do you love your school? And all of them just were clapping and everything. Now listen to me, and listen really good. We still got a lot of challenges in West Virginia, and we can make things better. There's no question we can make things better. And I love the fact that we have more choice for our parents to make on where to send their kids and whatever, you know, whatever it may be. But I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of good stuff going on in our schools. A testimony is just that simple. Do you love your teachers? And all of them say yes. Do you love your school? And all of us as adults say yes, because it is so meaningful to our community. Now, if we love our teachers and we love our schools, there's got to be some doggone good stuff going on in those schools. And so keep it up. Congratulations, Milton Elementary, and we're going to have a new school real soon. Today, the Biden administration unveiled new regulations targeting coal and natural gas power plants. They did that through the EPA regs on emissions. You know, this is nothing more in my book than just a takeoff of the Obama administration. You know, these people really are bent on trying to kill fossil fuels in this country. You know, I think that these people aren't necessarily bad people, but I think they're misguided in such a severe way. There is no chance that today in America, or today in this nation, or today rather in this world, that we can do without fossil fuels. What is wrong with us to think that we can do without fossil fuels today in America or today in the world? Now, if we can't, you know, and sometimes these numbers are skewed, but I want to read this to you. You know, our fossil fuel plants generate more than 60% of the nation's electricity. You know, now just think, that's compared to 14% that are generated with wind and solar together. Now, how can we do without that? How in the world can we do without that? And there may be a time, and I'm one that is saying to people everywhere, embrace the alternatives. We want to do that. I'm going to tell you right now, if I had Chris Hamilton on here right now, representing the Coal Association, Chris Hamilton would say, embrace the alternatives. Absolutely, we want to be open-minded. But just to step back and blow our own legs off, for what reason? China's building a coal-fired power plant every other day almost. What reason would we possibly want an America to be so dependent, on Saudi Arabia or Russia or wherever for energy? Why would we want that? I don't get it. I just plain don't get it. We should be very, very proud of who brung us to this dance, and that is our coal miners. But we should now be very, very, very proud of the unbelievable work that our gas workers are doing for us in West Virginia today, and our coal miners today. Now, will there be a day, maybe, that we can do without our fossil fuels? But just to tell it like it is, it sure ain't today. Now, I only say that in slang to illustrate my point. My point is just as simple as just this. We're trying to be open-minded. We're trying to say embrace the alternatives until we can someday get there. Don't be a stick in the mud and be holding potential progress back. Let's hope and pray that we come through with breakthroughs that enable us to mine more coal and to produce and mine and process more gas. But literally, you got to remember this last point. Just write it down. Any of the nations of the world, any of them, that abound in some level of energy, absolutely the people live longer, the people are healthier. Why do we want to strangle the world? Why do we want to do that? For some elite idea that may not even be the correct idea. I don't know why we do it. And here's another one. Gosh. Turn on the nightly news. Just turn on the news. Turn on the news and watch the flood of folks that are coming across our southern border, coming across our northern borders. Absolutely, we have no borders right now in America, just about. Just think of the fact of the numbers of people that are coming. And what are they coming with? They're coming with supposedly from 160 some different countries from all over the world. They're coming from China, and they're coming from Yemen. They're coming from everywhere and everything. Well, what are they bringing with them? Some people are bringing some bad stuff. And I don't mean just drugs. Some people are probably bringing, and God forbid, some level of terrorism stuff. People are bringing human trafficking. People are bringing fentanyl. It is just not, it makes not 1 ounce of sense to me. And not only that, do you really expect Texas to just be able to absorb these people as fast as Texas can? And I would do the same thing. As fast as the Texas governor, Governor Abbott, is doing the very fastest that he can, he's putting them on buses and sending them to your neighborhood. That's what he's doing. And whether it be Chicago or New York or wherever, why should they complain? A lot of the very, very liberals in those places are the cause of this. It's terrible. It's terrible beyond belief. President Trump was building a wall, and what did we do? We just stopped it. Not only did we stop it, We left it just lay out there. You know, I sound like I'm just preaching, but it makes, I mean, tell me, somebody please tell me from the Biden administration, whether it be inflation, energy independence, Afghanistan, the southern borders, all the different, the situation with Russia and China, somebody please tell me how this makes sense. I can't get it. Okay, Dave Hardy, Secretary of Revenue, is going to, talk to us about, our largest tax cut in the state's history and everything. Dave, please come on.
Thank you very much, Governor. And I have here with me today our State Tax Commissioner, Matthew Irby, and his Assistant Deputy, Emily Kramer. And one of the things that we've worked so hard on at Tax, and I would encourage all West Virginians to take a look at our new website, tax.wv.gov. We're working very, very hard to put out very user-friendly bulletins and information that can be used by West Virginians to understand how important and how wonderful these tax cuts are and how to apply for them and receive them. So I bring great news today, and that West Virginia just finished in April. We just finished the largest, we set two records. We collected the most general revenue in 1 month in the history of the state, and we collected the most income tax in the history of the state. And the fact that we are doing that well in the income tax area clearly indicates that West Virginians are working and receiving higher wages, and obviously that's good for West Virginia. The better news is our tax cuts, and I'm going to talk about them here today basically in two buckets. The state income tax was cut by the legislature at the request of the governor and signed by the governor by 21.5% this year, this calendar year 23. And that tax cut took effect, of course, retroactive to January 1st of this year. In late March, all of our employers across the state, through our tax website, were given the new withholding tables. And as those tables are implemented, West Virginians are seeing less money withheld from their paychecks. Also, as West Virginians pay their estimated taxes on April 15th, June 15th, September, and into next January, West Virginians are going to be paying a lot less state income tax. And I have some numbers here. Between now and June 30th, which is just basically May and June, West Virginians will receive a tax cut on their personal income taxes of $114 million. By next June 30th, 13 months from now, there'll be an additional $696 million cut from West Virginian state income taxes. So just in the next 14 months alone, West Virginians are going to receive $810 million more dollars back in their pockets to use for their own personal use and benefit, and that's good for West Virginia. That's going to stimulate the economy, and it's going to result in a lot more economic activity in our state. We expect there's going to be an uptick in a lot of our consumer sales tax, an uptick for our small businesses, and that more money is going to be entering the economy. We are very, very pleased so far with the implementation of our personal income tax cuts. So those will apply to calendar year 23, 21.5% cut, and calendar year 24. Better news is in August 15th of 24, next year, we will do a calculation on what we call a trigger that is baked into the state code. And if we continue to perform at the rate we are, that trigger will allow for additional state income tax in calendar year, income tax cut in calendar year 25. So we've got great days ahead of us in 23 and 24, and the possibility of another state income tax in calendar year 25. I'm going to lay that all aside for a minute. And again, that's $810 million of instant tax relief already on the books. And I'm going to talk about the other tax rebates that were passed at the request of the governor in the spring of '23. These rebates take effect next year, calendar year '24. Note the difference. These are next year's state income tax rebates, and they're not credits or they're not deductions, they're rebates. In other words, you pay that amount and you get that amount back on your taxes dollar for dollar. So let me talk about each one. The one that I think is going to be the largest is what we call the car tax rebate. Even though that rebate is better than just the personal property tax that you might pay on your car. If you go to Tax's website today Tax posted a bulletin for the public that's going to show you which type of personal property taxes on your vehicles are eligible for the rebate. And I'm pleased to report that it will include the following. It will include cars and trucks, trucks with a gross weight of 10,000 pounds or less. It will include larger trucks, truck tractors, road tractors. It will include motorcycles. That's also included in this rebate, and buses, as well as trailers, boat trailers, or semi-trailers, antique motor vehicles, farm trucks, and all-terrain vehicles. So there are 8 different types of personal property tax that you will be paying in '24 that you will receive a dollar-for-dollar credit against your state income taxes. If you don't owe state income taxes, you can apply for this rebate and you will actually receive a check back in the mail. So you can either take it as a credit against your state taxes for '24, or you can get a rebate check in the mail. Now that'll take effect next year. And again, there are 8 categories of vehicles that are included. And I would encourage you to go to tax.wv.gov and you can see a one-page bulletin about the property tax adjustment credit. And again, that was posted today. The other 2 credits, which take effect in 2024, are also very, very important. West Virginia takes care of its veterans. And there are approximately 10,000 disabled veterans who live in West Virginia. If you are a disabled veteran, and Tax will be posting information about this on their website shortly, if you're a disabled veteran, you will receive a dollar-for-dollar rebate against the property taxes against your primary resident. So that would be, there are 10,000 West Virginians that will be eligible to receive that credit in the year 2024. And again, that will be applied for in the same way. It's a dollar-for-dollar credit against your taxes, or if you don't owe taxes, it'll be a dollar-for-dollar rebate that you'll receive either by check or by wire transfer, your option. Last, calendar year '24 again, what we call the small business personal property tax credit. The code says that the definition of a small business for purposes of this credit is that you have personal property appraised at $1 million or less. So if you have a small business and you have personal property that's appraised at $1 million or less, in calendar year '24, next year, you will also be eligible to apply for and receive a dollar-for-dollar credit against your income taxes for the taxes that you paid. And there are literally over 1,000 businesses in West Virginia that will qualify for this small business credit. So when you add all this up, less state income tax in calendar year '23, less state income tax in calendar year '24, a total of $810 million less. The possibility, if we meet our trigger on August 15th of 2024, another state income tax cut in calendar year '25, and in calendar year '24, you'll receive a dollar-for-dollar credit against the tax paid on your vehicles, 100%. You'll receive, if you're a disabled veteran, you'll receive a dollar-for-dollar credit against the personal property taxes that you paid or the taxes that you paid on your primary residence. And if you have a business that has property, personal property appraised at $1 million or less, you're going to receive a dollar for dollar credit. This is by far, nothing else is even close, the largest tax cut in the history of West Virginia. And I might add, this is the first time since 1987, 35 years ago, that West Virginia has made a cut, a material cut, in its state personal income tax. So we are sharing the benefit of how healthy West Virginia's economy is now and how healthy our tax collections are under the leadership of Governor Justice. Great news for West Virginia. Tax can be complicated, and I've tried to explain it the best I can, and I think I've done okay, but never hesitate to go to tax.wv.gov, or we can have a taxpayer service representative available to you at 1-800-982-8297. Don't hesitate to reach out to us. The West Virginia State Tax Division wants to be friendly. They want to be user-friendly to all West Virginians, and we want to get the good news out and make sure that you, as a West Virginian, get the benefit of all this tax relief. And with that, Governor, I'll turn it back over to you.
Well, Secretary Hardy, and all those in tax and everything, all those in revenue, again, wow. I mean, really and truly, if you had the opportunity to listen to Secretary Hardy just today, it is amazing. And so I thank all those. I thank everybody who's pulled the rope. Our legislature, all the people here in my administration, but way, way, way beyond that, I thank the hardworking West Virginians, because at the end of the day, you did it. You did it. In all honesty, you stayed the course, and you worked hard. You got your dinner bucket, and you went to work, and lo and behold, this state started to really change. And with all that, we came with the ideas. We did our job. We came with the ideas. We thought big, and absolutely we pushed it. We pushed it, and today we've gone from a state that literally, like it or not like it, was flat on its back, DOA, absolutely flat on its back, the blunt end of a lot of bad jokes. We've turned around and turned Baby Dog's hind end to Bette Midler. And I would do the same to any of those that criticized West Virginia. Now we're the diamond in the rough that they missed. And now we're on a rocket ship ride like nobody's business. A state that's on the pathway of eliminating the state income tax. West Virginia. Who would have thunk it? That's all there is to it. And again, to use that in a slang way, who would have thunk it? But today, West Virginia is truly on the move, and everybody knows it. And I absolutely love to rub that in the face of anybody that's been critical about us and look down their nose at us, because I've known forever just how good we are. So thank everybody. Thanks to everybody in this great state. You've really, really done it. Now let's just keep on doing it and don't get in our own way. For crying out loud, we've got so much more to do and so many more we can help, but let's just keep on doing it. That's all I've got. We'll take your questions.
All right, thank you, Governor. We'll now go to questions from members of the media. The first today from Charles Young with WV News.
Hi, this is Charles Young with WV News. Governor, my question is about the EPA rules and regs for power plants. Earlier today during a press conference, Senator Capito said she expected enormous legal challenges to these proposed rules. Is that something you would support? Is that something you hope the Attorney General takes up? Thank you.
Without any question, Charles, no point in me elaborating on it any more than that. Really, our nation under the Biden administration is nothing but a bunch of knee-jerk. That's all there is to it. It's a bunch of knee-jerk to the woke, super liberal, And absolutely, all it's going to do is get us in more and more and more trouble all across this country. And without any question, I absolutely will urge our Attorney General. Patrick will do a good job in regard to this. I will urge anybody and everybody to challenge through our court system or whatever it may be to absolutely see that this doesn't come to pass.
All right, thanks, Charles. Next to Brad McElhenney with West Virginia Metro News.
Hi, Governor. Hi, everybody. Governor, when you've been asked about the ongoing emergency in West Virginia's correction system, you've regularly made reference to locality pay as a way to address the critical shortage of workers. Locality pay meaning, I take it, paying more in areas where cost of living is more. But the highest vacancy rates are all over the state. 76% at Potomac Highlands Regional Jail in Augusta, which is in Hampshire County, 56% in the Northern Regional Jail in Moundsville, 54% Eastern Regional Jail in Martinsburg, 54% at the Vicki Douglas Juvenile Center in Martinsburg, 54% at the Huttonsville Regional Correctional Center in Randolph County, 50% at the J.M. Chuck Buckby Juvenile Center in Hampshire County, 47% at the Western Regional Jail in Barboursville, Cabell County, 40% at the Mount Olive Correctional Center in Fayette County. So what I'm asking is, how would locality pay address the breadth of those vacancies? Thank you.
Brad, I appreciate you pointing those things out. We're very aware of all that, but Brad, I just say just this. We're looking at all the options all the time. We have absolutely worked hand in hand with the legislature. If you'll look at my bill that we just sent up the last go round. Absolutely, my bill addresses exactly what you're talking about. We got to do something. But there's no need in calling a special session when you've got all kinds of people bouncing off the walls. We've got to have some level of agreement. That's all there is to it. And the second that we have some level of agreement, and I am so open-minded to the whole to anything, but we've got to try. We've got to try to do something. There's no point if the bills that I sent up there were inadequate, then why don't we amend the bills that I'm sending up there and come up with something that is adequate? I'll sign it in a second. That's all there is to it. I am not giving anybody a hard time, but absolutely this is ridiculous. That's all there is to it. It's ridiculous. We've got to fix this. And I stand ready to fix it right now. But there is no point in the world in calling a special session and coming down here and going through 15 different gyrations and not coming up with anything.
All right, thanks, Brad. Next to Curtis Johnson with WSAZ.
Hey, good afternoon, Governor and Mr. Secretaries. With the end of the pandemic emergency, is there a specific subset of people you and your administration worry about the most? And what is your message to those people?
Curtis, did I hear you that with the end of the emergency?
I can do it again.
Okay, please.
With the end of the pandemic emergency, is there a specific subset of people that you and your administration worry about the most? And what's your message to those people?
Well, first of all, I think Dr. Coben probably is going to answer this better than I. But if Curtis, if you go back and you look at the fact of what we had to play with, we didn't have a playbook. And we really were just trying to follow the federal government's lead in a lot of ways and do the very best job that we could possibly do with keeping our people safe and healthy. In doing so, there was a lot of West Virginians that chose to push back in regard to the vaccines. Look, I had every vaccination, and I had all the boosters, and I ended up with COVID 2 different times. You know, there was surely no guarantees. We tried as best we could to make the right decisions, but if there's a group that I would worry about, you know, this in this day and time, with the information that we have, the group that I may have worried about before would have been maybe the group that did not get vaccinated, but they may very well end up at the end of the day, the group that is the safest and the healthiest. You know, but Dr. Coben, please, you know, maybe you could add to that.
Well, thanks, Governor. I think I'll try to answer that question in two ways. As it relates to actually protecting ourselves from COVID and the severity of COVID, you know, we still are concerned most about our elderly population and individuals who are immunocompromised and individuals who have chronic diseases. Those will always be, at least according to the current guidelines, the people who are at greatest risk and the ones that we would really encourage to work closely with their physicians and stay up to date on their vaccinations. The second part of the question might have to do with comments I made earlier about the ending of the declared public health emergency and the benefits that were provided to people through the public health emergency period. And that relates to individuals who receiving Medicaid, who are receiving CHIP benefits, or receiving SNAP benefits. And for those individuals, I would encourage them, as I mentioned earlier, to reach back to our programs or go to our DHHR website and look at how the changes that are occurring in those programs might impact them and how they can lessen those impacts. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Curtis. Governor, I'll turn it back to you.
Well, you know, I wasn't expecting coming right back to me that quickly, but we had a lot of nice announcements and everything. We, you know, the end of COVID, great. You know, we appointed 2 great judges, you know, and wish them the very best. You know, National Hospital Week and National, you know, Nurses Week, good stuff. You know, National Children's Mental Health Acceptance Week, good stuff. You know, from the standpoint of PepsiCo in West Virginia, and they've been in West Virginia, but they're expanding and their hub is unbelievable. Congratulations to the Capital Midland Band. The Dirty Birds let me throw the first pitch out, and some way, somehow that worked okay. And the new school, Milton Elementary. Now, I have no earthly clue where we go from, you know, from congratulatory, but now, you know, beyond that, in review real quick, new EPA regulations. Gosh, you know, I mean, can we not see what's going on in the Biden administration and see what's going on with Title 42 coming to an end at the southern border? It's just, it's anything but good, but we at least ended with some really good stuff, you know, with Dave Hardy giving us a rundown on all the stuff in tax and all the dollars that are going to be flowing back to our people and the hardworking West Virginians that took us here. And it's really good. And I really appreciate Secretary Hardy and all of his folks. You know, they're doing an amazing job. So nevertheless, that's all I've got. Thank y'all so much. Stay tuned. We're going to keep on keeping on, and I'll promise you we're going to run through the finish line, and we're not done yet by any stretch of the imagination.